Luxury to me means having everything that I want in my own home. People are leaning more like heavier and heavier into creating that space in their home because that's where we spend most of our time. So like, why should your home not be the place that's supporting your health and wellness goals? I'm just like, oh, why don't I just blend all of this wellness into real estate? So my quest is to start bringing non-toxic and non-toxic building products and practices into Austin, redefining what luxury looks like.
Pull up a chair. You're sitting at the table with Powerhouse Women, the podcast where bold women in business come to connect, collaborate, and build something bigger than themselves.
We always say, if you're fortunate to have a seat at the table, pull up 3 more. That's exactly what we're doing here.
This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. We're creating space at the table for conversations that matter. The ones that challenge you, push you, and remind you that you do not have to do this alone.
Every episode, we're talking growth, success, and the real, unfiltered truths of entrepreneurship. No gatekeeping,
No fluff, just the perspective and community that you need to thrive. So, if you're ready to surround yourself with women who get it, you're in the right place, and there is already a seat with your name on it. What's up, Powerhouses? Welcome back to another episode of At the Table with Powerhouse Women.
Today we're pulling up a chair for Jael Bristol. Jael is a wellness-focused luxury real estate agent in Austin, Texas, who blends years of hands-on experience in hormone, gut, and nervous system health with deeply researched, real-life approach to creating homes that truly support that long-term well-being. She's also our Austin, Texas market partner for Powerhouse Women. Welcome, Jael. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and chat with you ladies today.
So excited.
And last year, Jael also taught a class for our community all about women's health and low-tox living, and it totally opened our eyes to so much that we didn't know and what people in the real estate industry, especially the building side, didn't know. So we're very excited to dive way deeper into that today.
This is a conversation I've been really excited to have with you because since you taught that masterclass last year, I was like mind blown, and you opened up my eyes to so much that I never knew. So I started making little changes day to day since then. You've definitely inspired me. So I'm just very excited to dive into all of that. I'd love to talk about your low-tox journey. How did it start? Tell us what low-tox even means, because I'm sure people don't even know what that means.
Yeah. So, long story, Reader's Digest version of it all. My husband got extremely ill between COVID and the COVID vaccine and was almost didn't make it. And so we had to go on a very, very life-changing journey to kind of bring him back from the brink of death. So we went the whole, doctor route, and everybody told him he was fine, and he was really not okay. So when we made that transition to starting to explore the world of holistic medicine, we were desperate at that point. And I had started to notice just in my own, system as well, a lot of like gut issues. So I had a ton of food sensitivities. I was bloating at every meal, just like constantly uncomfortable, like super painful, like periods, like things that we as women really normalize that should not be normal. And so when he went on his journey, I, being his partner, decided to, as much as felt comfortable to me, go on that journey with him, because it's just like, it was such an altering experience for him that I was like, all right, we're either going to do this together or it's going to pull us apart. And that is absolutely not what I wanted. We had just gotten married. So I was like, all right, in sickness and in health. We really tested that out the first couple of years of our marriage. And so it led us to the journey that we live today. So for us, it started with healing the gut. A lot of us have gut issues, just the food and the whole, our whole system in the United States is not really built to promote like health and longevity for people. And so we did, I mean, it's not uncommon for, people to be gluten-free, allergic to milk. Like everyone has a food allergy now, right? And so much of it can be tied to your gut. And so I actually healed most of my food allergies by focusing on my gut and my hormones. I started fixing my hormones because painful periods, I started learning just like how that should not be the case. Like that really shouldn't be a thing that's happening to us. And was just plagued by that. I had been diagnosed with endometriosis. And so that was my thing to focus on healing because I saw my husband healing from his chronic illnesses that, traditional medicine said he'd have to suffer from the rest of his life. And so I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this too. So I had chronic acne, like horrible, horrible, horrible skin, horrible gut, and just all these health issues that I was like, let's see what we can do about these things. So it's led me to the lifestyle of being low tox. So this is a journey I've been on for 6 years now. So it's definitely, something that I have slowly implemented and I still promote. Like you have to live life. Life is still happening to you as well. And so whenever I talk about this with people, like I know a lot because my journey, I have spent hundreds of hours. I've traveled the world to go to holistic wellness clinics. And so I'm just fully immersed in this. Like my husband and I both, like this is where we really nerd out. So when I'm approaching it with people who are just at the beginning of their journey, like good for you for taking this journey. It really sucks the more you get into it and the more you start seeing, the more it can feel overwhelming. So I like to balance that with just like we're humans and it does matter that we're living a life where we're still enjoying ourselves and the world around us because we can't just seal ourselves off in this like bubble. I mean, you can, that just does not sound like a life I want to be living. So I try to take it from the approach of like what I can control in my own home, I am a freak about. And I am the first person to acknowledge that when people are in my space, like when I have friends staying with me or family staying with me, like they're like, oh my God, you guys are insane. And like, yes, we are. But when I leave my house, I'm not as concerned about it. Like I will make conscious choices to, if I'm going out to eat, I live in Austin. Austin is a foodie city. There's amazing food here. So I'm not going out to eat Taco Bell. If you do, fine by like that's whatever. But those are the conscious choices that I'm making of like if I'm going out to eat, I'm going to go indulge in a meal that's like a really delicious meal made by chefs. But things like that where I still like low tox to me just like in my home. I try to treat my body in a way in my own house where that's the environment I'm in most of the time. That allows me to be more free in the world when I am not in my home. And I just make that conscious effort to put it out of my mind so that I'm not stressing about it. Because, I mean, stress is the biggest, like, the worst thing for your body. And the thing that leads to so many of our illnesses is stress. And so being stressed out about being healthy is like so counterintuitive. And so just kind of like acknowledging that for everybody too, like the low tox journey, you can be as insane as you want to about it, but I would encourage like always coming from a place of like what feels good to you, what feels like a sacrifice you're willing to make, you're happy to make, and it's not like keeping you up at night that you're like feeling super guilty about and things like that, because that's not going to help you in the long run.
Balance is key for sure. And I
Yeah.
definitely do ride for Taco Bell, but outside of that,
No shame, no shame.
I do really like what you said earlier, though. It was kind of like the process of kind of how you started. You started with trying to heal your gut. Then you focus on your hormones and so on and so forth. And I find that super interesting because I am on that exact same journey. And it's interesting that you also said your husband started feeling ill once he got the COVID vaccine. Back in 2020, I got the COVID vaccine. I think it was after the second shot. I'm not sure. It was either between the first or second. I started having gut issues, and I've never in my life had gut issues. And it was only when I would eat dairy, and I'm like, I love pizza. So what are we going to do here? And it's just super crazy because for 2 years I was trying to figure out what to do. I was going to gastros, I was doing all the things, and nothing was working until I went to a naturopath. And she helped me heal my gut, really. cured me of whatever the heck was going on, some sort of imbalance. And then I started noticing hormonal imbalance after that. And now I'm kind of on that whole journey. And it's just been like kind of like a 6 year thing for me right now. And I don't think it's going to stop. But I'm just curious, like, was that kind of the transgression that you noticed too? Like it started with gut and then right after that, your hormones were all out of whack?
So, I mean, it is interesting that you say that. Like, now we are acknowledging kind of widely as a community that COVID and the vaccine do have long-lasting effects on us and like pretty tremendous ones as well. Back when, I mean, when it all first started happening during, 2022 era, like we were, I would say, of kind of the first group of people, at least in my community, of people that saw like immediate issues from being vaccinated, and it was still incredibly taboo to discuss at that point in time. And so we had to navigate it very delicately as well, just because now, just like you said, Marley, like it's, I won't say necessarily easy because some people are still hesitant to have that conversation, but it's a lot more widely accepted that like, oh, what do you know? Like we mass as a society like put something in our body that we didn't really know how it was gonna affect us. But when we were in the earlier end of that, it was definitely a lot harder to navigate because there was not a lot of studies. People were a less inclined to have these conversations of like, it also took us a while as a society to start developing some of these issues. My husband was one of those just super unfortunate ones that like within a couple of months of being vaccinated, he started having like heart palpitations and basically what like mimicked a stroke. So he would like his hands and feet would go numb. He would feel like he was going to pass out. His chest would like his heart would start pounding. His heart would like drop in his chest. He'd get lightheaded. And it was very scary. A lot like that, I have noticed that in the male community, that happens a lot, and a lot more men are dealing with those specific issues now. And for women, a lot of it is hormone and gut stuff. So obviously, like it affects people differently, but as a category, that's what I'm seeing. So when I was first starting out in this journey, I didn't know where to start because there wasn't a lot of information. I didn't know where a lot of this was coming from. We are kind of just in the dark with so much of this that mine, which is hilarious, but we're in real estate here, so we know, mine came from a vanity standpoint of where like my acne on my face was just so horrendous that so much of what I was trying to get to the bottom of was like, how do I heal the acne on my face? Because like my face is my job. It was so vain, but you have to have a reason why you want to do something, and that just happened to be mine because I was like, I live in Austin, Texas. It is 100 degrees for like 5 months out of the year. I can't wear a ton of makeup. Like I would love to be natural and like feel confident in that. And so that ultimately led me to kind of like doing hormones and gut at the same time. But I will say that I think I realized like healing your gut is not necessarily easy by any means. That's not at all what I mean by this, but it is a little more straightforward to heal your gut because it's just requires like a low, like a diet change. Like usually it just requires you to cut out sugars and alcohol and not things that are easy to do. That was horrible time cutting all of those things out. But the hormone journey is just so much more complex, in my opinion. And it's just takes a longer time to see, changes. Whereas like your gut, if you do like a 2 or 3 month cleanse, even a month cleanse, like people do Whole 30 and things like that, like you notice a difference. So I think a lot of gut stuff gets healed very much through diet. I think most things can be healed through diet, but hormones, it just takes so much longer because you have to track it and they fluctuate, especially being women. They fluctuate so differently throughout the month. And it's such a longer process that it makes sense that I feel like a lot of women like understand that they have gut and hormone stuff. It just, the path to getting your gut healthier is just a little more straightforward and maybe quicker. than it is where you're tracking your hormones. Like, if you're doing blood tests, you're doing blood tests every 6 months, and maybe you got to like tweak things here and there. And so it's just a much more complex issue. So mine were kind of like, I knew they were all happening at one time, but I focused on the gut health just because my holistic practitioner did a lot with just like the diet. My husband was on a very, very strict diet for himself as well. And so that's just where I started seeing results quicker. And so I kind of like focused as a newbie in the holistic and wellness world. Like I really focused on diet stuff and was able to see like pretty significant changes on the shorter term with focusing there.
Yeah. I feel like I've personally never had gut issues that I've had to deal with, and I feel like part of that's really lucky and just how my parents raised me, and I feel like that was like at the center of how our entire nutrition was about. Hormones have been something that like I cannot, they're all over the place. I don't know how to track them. When I'm going people like for help, I get the opposite advice of what I'm going in for. The last time I went into a doctor, I was like, there is something wrong. Like, I know that there's something wrong. I feel so imbalanced. I've been on some form of birth control since I was 14. I'm almost 30, so that's like 16 years of my life going through either the pill, an IUD, and I strictly went to this doctor being like, the IUD is messing with me. I can tell that it's this. There's no way it can be anything else because my diet has been my diet for this long. Like, and I have no issues there. I want this out and I want to find something else. And their remedy for me was to keep my IUD in and also go on the pill. And I was like,
Just double
what?
up.
And I was like, wait, how is that the advice? And I remember walking out, I called DeAndre and I'm like, fuck these doctors. They're not giving me what I want. I'm like, this is not
You're like,
what
where's
I
the
was
logic?
looking for. I'm like, that makes no sense to me. And I know that I don't know medicine. I'm not a doctor, but I was like, I need to find a naturopath. Like, I need somebody else's advice. But then there's also, I love your take. There's also this fear in my head, because I've heard this from other people, is when they go off whatever form of birth control that they're on, their hormones change completely. The person that they're with, they're not attracted to anymore. Like, their hormones change so much. So, Jael, I would love your opinion, because I feel like, especially you being on this low-tox journey and have been doing it for so long, it seems like you're getting away from Western medicine. Do you feel like Western medicine is a trap?
That's such a great question. I think that Western medicine is amazing at keeping people alive. So as far as like surgeries, they have their shit down. Like you can go in and have a very successful surgery. If you are in an emergency situation and you need to go into the emergency room, like they have their protocols down and they're going to keep you alive. Now, dead people don't pay bills. So I think they like keep you alive because you pay into, you got to pay your bills, right? And where I see the lack of efficiency, I would say, in the traditional medicine world right now is for issues like these, where it's like they're very specialized issues that, and you're someone where you're like, I don't want a band-aid for this issue because I do think that the medicine world is really, really good. That's what they treat is band-aids, unless you're going in for things like surgery or very specific things that they're like, okay, we can fix that. But most other things like gut health, just chronic illnesses right now, like everyone you talk to has some kind of chronic illness, right? And that's not like throwing shade at anyone because it's not glamorized, I would say, but it's just Western medicine doesn't know what to do with it and can only help by prescribing you a medication. And so they categorize these things as being chronic illnesses that it's just like you slap the label on and they're like, sorry, but you have this disease or illness now and you have to live the rest of your life taking this medication. Or Morgan, you mentioned birth control earlier, which is such a great example of where it's like, yeah, you go in at 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, and you're like, I have painful periods, I have acne, and they're like, here is this drug that's going to completely alter your hormones for arguably like some of the most like prominent and important times of development in your womanhood, and just kind of like mess all of that up for you so that later on when you decide you're like ready to have a baby, if that's in your path, or I think your hormones being on hormonal birth control, like it just leads you to not feeling well later on in life. Like those are the solutions that they have. And then them doubling down and being like, okay, you should have an IUD and be on birth control then. That's what you said, right?
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me, but the opposite. I recently just went off of birth control after being on it since I was 15. I was like,
Mhm.
I know my hormones are messed up. I need to get off of just anything hormonal and
Yeah.
just kind of like regulate my own body. And then they tried to get me to go on an IUD. And I'm like, what is this? Like, why? Like, no, I just want nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Aura ring, tracking my stuff. Get it away from me.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So I would say it's not a trap, but I do think that if you have any type of complex issue, or what I hear more and more is like, even from both of you just now, is people are just understanding a little bit more that they have other options, that they maybe don't want to take drugs. They maybe don't want to be continuing to alter their body chemistry, and they would like to maybe address these chronic issues at their source and then maybe see if we can heal them. And I think that, there's a lot of pros and cons for social media, but I think a huge pro is that it's like a lot of us are able to get this information because of social media and because it's becoming more widely talked about on social media and we're getting education there. You should always go and talk with a holistic doctor about all of the things you're learning on these platforms. But I think it causes the questions to come up, and it allows you to see that there might be an alternative to being prescribed a medication and taking another drug. I do think that I absolutely believe in the hospital system for sure, but I just think that there are too many holes, to where either something's going to have to change, or more and more people are just losing faith in the system because doctors are just, they're not being taught these things that people are asking for. And so they're causing people to lose trust in them because you come to them saying, I want to be off birth control. So they're like, oh, perfect, let's double you up, or let's switch you to another kind. And it's just like people are losing faith because you're just like, okay, I'm not being heard. What, that like you are so dumb. What do you mean? It frustrates you so much to where people are just they're leaving the system. And
Yeah.
so
Or
yeah,
like Great Awakening or something. Seriously,
Yeah.
everyone's consciousness is just opening up, and we're realizing that everything that we've always been told and learned through our whole lives and our parents' lives and so on and so forth before that, things just not real or
not what it
lie,
seems.
or it's all
Yeah.
messed up, and they're all just killing us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is morbid, but that is like when you live in 2026, like since 2020, there has been some weird portal that we've gone through where we are just a completely different society. I think I like to see the good in everything. So I think the pro is just that all the lies that have been going on since, a lot of this started shifting in the 1930s and 50s, like a lot of the whole medical system and the food system. I mean, conspiracy theories are not conspiracy theories anymore, right? So at this point, it's just like they've all kind of blended together to change society to where we are now, to where we're dumb and we're sick and we go to work and that's all we have the brain space for. And we're all kind of, yeah, waking up to that, seeing the lies that are being told to us and being like, wait, no, we have free will. We're still like living beings here, and I don't want to live like that anymore. So it is really cool to see that, but it can be really overwhelming too.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's why I think
Mhm.
it's so important to just take one step at a time. Like change one thing at a time. And once you're used to that, then implement something else. Like
Yeah.
I started really slow with like just looking at ingredients. I buy nothing with like added sugar, seed oils. Like I'm like crazy about it now. And I went off birth control. That was my next thing, which I was very scared to do. I'm tracking my cycle with my Aura ring. Now I'm like, buying organic sheets and making sure all the fabrics and everything like that are like organic and not polyester, and
Yeah,
doing that also with clothing. I mean, I try. It's harder with clothing, but
those are
one
hard.
step at a time, seriously. And
Yeah.
that was like, I think you taught us the class in like August. It's now March, almost April. So, like it's taking time. It's not going to be like a one quick fix to
No.
fix your life. It's a whole lifestyle change, and you got to start doing things one day at a time. Like I'm churning butter now.
Level I have not even unlocked, so that's amazing.
Churning my own butter with local Amish milk.
That's incredible.
Oh, Marley, I love you.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Churning
Yeah.
butter, making sourdough at home. Like, no, like I'm done with all like the grocery stores and the nonsense. Like,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say that is a really good step to take is if you're looking for somewhere to start, it is an awesome step to take to start looking at the ingredients because yeah, you like look at a bottle of ketchup or literally you go to the grocery store. Bread, you look at bread and you're like, why are there 27 ingredients in my bread? Like, what do you mean? What is this? It is crazy. So it is, I would say, yeah, if you're looking at ingredients, just being mindful of like base place to start. If there are a lot of ingredients that you cannot pronounce in your food, you probably don't need to be eating that. Preservatives, if you have a lot of preservatives in your food, those are straight up chemicals. You probably don't need to be eating those things. Yeah, the added sugars is a really great one because if you have gut or hormone any chronic illness or inflammation in your body, like inflammation feeds off of sugar. And so a lot of like sugar is added into a lot of our food that you're just like, okay, that's stuff that your body doesn't need. And if you're trying to be intentional about that, if you're going to consume sugar, like, have a pastry or whatever, but it doesn't need to be like sneaky in all of your dressings that are like super healthy and then it has like 12 grams of sugar and you're like, what?
not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
No, it's
lot.
everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's definitely been something that I've noticed because DeAndre is diabetic, and so we definitely have to watch his sugar more. And
Mhm.
that's something that I haven't really thought about. Like my diet is usually been keto-ish or something totally different, so it's been mostly whole foods.
Mhm.
But when I go shopping with him, it is insane to me how much sugar is put into things that I'm like, why is it even in here? Like there's no reason for added sugar to be in this product. And
Yeah.
it's everywhere. It's just insane.
Guys, I was trying to buy a bag of pretzels, but I was like, I don't want any seed oils, like, or processed anything. I have not found any singular brand of pretzels that doesn't have some sort of ridiculous seed oil in it. Like that's to that level, like that pisses me off. So now I'm gonna make my own pretzel.
Like, so my husband works for Whole Foods and he is the director of the dairy department. So what his job is he leads the dairy team and he manages all of the merchants across dairy. And so he helps manage them as they are deciding what brands go on the shelves at Whole Foods. And so I have a lot of my insight from them too, just because him being immersed in that world, meeting so many founders and brands and things like that, you just learn a lot about food and the food industry and just innovation. And it's fascinating. But that's where a lot of these brands pop up from, right? It's just like they have a story exactly like that, Marley, where they're just like, I can't find like goddamn pretzels. What do you mean? Yes, and so
Help me?
and create a product. And so it is really cool to see there's a lot of innovation right now with food, and it is really cool to like be in this day and age and see because again, so many people are just gaining this knowledge and looking for these products that are not on shelves and they're going and creating them. And so, I mean, there's a lot out there, and I think it's kind of easier to be, I won't say easier, but like there's just more space for products like this now. Whereas, like, my husband and I talk about this 10 years ago, where just like it was kind of weird to like talk about like being vegetarian, right? And so, but
Yeah.
now it's just like it's so normalized now, which is cool. But it's also like we're all in a space where we're feeling that, like we're feeling the liminal space of where we're like, hey, we want these products, but like, the industries can't catch up quick enough to like feed the need there. So like you were talking about with organic clothing, like I do what I can with organic clothing too, but like most of it's just not cute. And
No.
so it's really hard.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to dress like that because you're like, I don't always want to be in linen. Like
Yeah,
sometimes it's
Yeah.
exactly.
like
Or like,
sometimes I need some spandex. And so, but it's again, it's things like that where it's like, do what makes you feel comfortable, like eliminate where you can and just relax about
we
it.
try our best. We really
Yeah.
are trying our best. I do want to backtrack a little bit though. I'm
Mhm.
just very curious about, because obviously you've uprooted your whole life. Like you've changed everything. You're living a completely different life now than you used to.
Mhm.
So I'm so curious to know, like, what were you like before? Like, what were your daily habits like before? What was JL doing on a day-to-day basis?
I love that question. Um, I would say it sound like there's drastic changes and then there's not because Morgan, similar to you, like I grew up in a space where my parents like they did the best they could in the 90s. They were always like you have a protein, you have a carb, and you have your veggies. And like you have to finish like focusing on, like eating veggies, like balanced meals and stuff. Now a lot of it was like canned green beans that I'm sure had a lot of sugar in them. But just like being raised in those spaces where like we didn't really go out to eat a lot, we didn't do fast food a lot. But then you hit college and you're just like I'm broke and I'm hungry all the time. I'll eat whatever I can get. So I would say most of the changes like like in that era of just kind of like I always had the element of like when I was at home, even as a young adult, like trying to get like vegetables and protein and trying to just eat balanced meals. But the biggest things that have changed is like when I met my husband, like we were young. I was 22. Like I was in my party animal era, as was he. And so a lot of it was just like on the weekends we would go and just like we drink with our friends as normal people do. Especially in your 20s. Like that's, you have your first job, you have a little money and you're like, hell yeah, let's go drinking. And so a lot of it was just like we were really focused still like at home. And again, he has worked at Whole Foods as long as I've known him. His mother is a nutritionist and personal trainer. Like we both came from backgrounds. I worked in the wellness space before I started real estate. So we both had similar backgrounds to where at home we were a little less worried about it. But I wasn't paying attention to things like ingredients. So I think that's the things that has changed a lot is like I wasn't really concerned about like what the labels were on my food. I tried to eat whole foods. I wasn't buying organic. That's expensive. I wasn't buying organic foods. I was drinking a lot. I am sober. I do not drink anymore. My husband has been sober for 3 years. We had to for our health journey. I mean, to each their own. I have no judgments based around it. That's just what works for me really well. So those would be the biggest things is honestly just like and when we're going out to eat, being mindful of like where we're going out to eat, where we're still going to go get a good meal. But again, it's going to be a meal that like we're indulging, but it's also like with intention behind it of where it's like we're going to eat at like a great restaurant. We love farm to table restaurants. Again, it's just like I'm not going through fast food usually, like that's not my thing. Now fast food hamburger, I don't know why that still remains my thing. I love a fast food hamburger.
I love a good burger.
I mean those are the biggest changes that we made that were pretty stark contrasts to like JL 5 years ago to JL now is just like what I was eating, being conscious of what I was eating, and then the drinking. That's really the biggest thing is just like not drinking. And I will still on occasion here and there, you guys have seen me. I will on occasion. But it's become less and less of a thing, and it's more like I will maybe have a drink like 2 times a year at this point. And then even then, like I'm always like, what, that was not worth it.
Yeah, no, it's truly like never worth it when you get like to that extent. Like
It's never worth it. And now
it's never worth it. But I mean, I think those are still big lifestyle changes though.
yeah,
Like I mean, I can't imagine like if I feel like so much would shift for me if I stopped drinking. Like my social life would probably change. Did that
yeah,
happen for you?
yeah, it was very hard. My husband had to cut out a lot of things really quickly just because once he was connected with the holistic doctor, they kind of finally understood the seriousness of the situation and they were like, "Oh wow, you you do not look good at all." And
Wow.
so they were like, "It needs to be something that like you have to cut this out like a lot of things immediately." So he went on like a 3-month regimen of where we cut out alcohol, sugar, caffeine, gluten, dairy, and it was quite a shocking 3 months, for sure, because we could not go out to eat. We had to make food at home. All of our lifestyle that had been built around that point, to your point, like socially and everything, like we couldn't go out anymore. And it took a lot of like we didn't want to because we just it was overwhelming. There was a lot going on when you're either with someone who's chronically ill or you are chronically ill. Like there just comes a point where it gets hard socially anyways because you just don't feel good. And then when you're kind of given this new path of like, you gotta be really radical if you want to get better here. It changed a lot of things for sure, which is why, I mean, I think it solidified our marriage. It worked out for us, which I am incredibly grateful for. But I think it's because we decided to take the journey together and I was willing to, as much as I was going through in my own body, again, I had to find my why behind it to like keep me going because it sucked. It really did. And so, my whys were those things I wanted to heal in my body. But like I could have just kept my I could have kept like doing whatever I was doing and not change anything and just let that be his journey. And so us, I think doing it together got us through those times because it shifted everything for us. I think now in 2026, it's really, again, the culture has shifted so much to where, I mean, like insights from Whole Foods, like the alcohol department at Whole Foods is struggling because people are not drinking or not drinking as much. So it's like from like an actual like big retailer standpoint, like people are just moving away from that lifestyle. It's not as big of a thing anymore to be like, yeah, I don't drink. Whereas before, even 5 years ago, it was like, that's weird. Why? Is like, are you an alcoholic? Do you have a problem?
Not a big
Yeah.
deal anymore. I feel like I'm hearing it more and more, and like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
If I'm not drinking, like at any type of event, like I'm still me. I'm still fun. Like I'm still
Yeah.
chatty and like a good time, laughing, whatever. Like as long as I'm around people that are fun, like
Yeah.
so I don't need to drink. I just genuinely enjoy a cocktail or two, like after a
I
long
mean,
Yeah.
a nice like crisp margarita on a
yeah,
100-degree
like
day. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. But I don't
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot. Like I maybe have like a couple drinks on the weekends, like one
Mhm.
night a week, maybe. Like I
Yeah.
won't drink by myself. I feel like when I was younger, I would have a glass of wine after work and all that.
Hmm.
Like I don't do that at all
Yeah.
anymore. I can't even imagine like doing that by myself anymore.
And I think whenever people are curious about going sober, just giving up drinking in their lives, that's usually something that I like to discuss with them is just like if have your relationship with it, it doesn't affect me. Like I don't care. But in my opinion, if you are someone who does not think like that, if you are someone who can't imagine being around people without drinks, or you're someone who, because I was that person. My husband was that person. We had to go through it together of where we were all of a sudden just like, well, we can't hang out with people because we don't drink and it's not going to be fun and I'm not going to have fun and I'm not going to be as outgoing or whatever it is. And that was like, that's a problem. Like whether you genuinely have an issue with alcohol, your relationship with alcohol or not, like that is an issue to like not be able to fathom being in a social setting without having a drink in your hand. So, talking about socially, like if you're someone who is thinking about maybe you're sober curious, maybe you just want to like, test it out and see what it's like those are the key things that I think beyond just health is just a good indicator to just like figure out with yourself of just like, is this something that just like adds to my experience and I don't have to have it? Or is it something that like, I don't think I'm going to have friends if I don't? And then if that's the case, then like for your health and for like yourself, like I think it's just nice to have like a sober time too. Like even before this,
Yeah.
have sober times where we're just like for this, yeah, whether it's 30 days, like we're just going to do a sober 30 days just to like, just constantly be reevaluating your relationship.
There is
Yeah.
something to be said though about not wanting to be around people if you are sober, if they're like absolutely hammered.
Yeah, it's
That
not.
is not good.
Yeah.
Like they're annoying. Like when you're drinking, it's more bearable and like it's funnier, I would say. But if you're just sober and people are absolutely shit faced, like
Yeah.
I'd rather not. Like that to me sounds
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that DeAndre and I have gone through phases where we drink a lot and then we will take a year off. And then we'll drink a little bit and then we take 3 months off. And we kind of just like go through like, how are we feeling? We're always the type of people, like we will go out no matter what. Like we're the same people we are when we're drinking or we're not, just like Marley said. Most people don't even realize that we're not drinking at places. They think we're the life of the party. Like they're offering us drinks and we're like, no, actually we're just drinking water. I'm just doing it in like a wine glass or whatever. And they're like, oh, we thought you were like drinking like we were. And we're like, no, we're just having fun. Like we're just here. But there does hit that level at certain parties where I will look at DeAndre and I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of here because people are just wasted now. And I'm like, I'm no longer having any fun. Like this is not fun. This is just like childish gibberish. And I can't do this anymore.
it's just annoying. Like I don't like very drunk people in general. Like if
Yeah.
I drink, you won't even know if I'm drunk. Like I'm just the same. Like maybe I'm a
Yeah.
little giggly or like
I'll be giggly. Yeah.
yeah, like but yeah, I don't act any different. So I get really like overwhelmed around people that are really, really drunk if I'm
Mhm.
not, you know?
Yeah.
When I am. Even when I am, it's annoying.
It is. And I think, I'm also appreciating that I am discussing this through the lens of someone who I am married. I am 30 years old now. Like, my life looks so different than me trying to like talk about this with someone who's single and 25, where it's just like, I also know that like my friend group has evolved with me too, where a lot of my friends, like if they are drinking again, it's super casual. Like we're all like, they know me, they know my limits, they're very respectful of me. So it's like, yes, if there are drinks, like they're not getting trashed, where I am the sober one who's like having to take care of my girlfriends because we went for a night out and they went way too crazy. But again, that comes with just like having friends who are like, we're in a similar stage of life where it's just like that's not cute really anymore, for like none of us think it's cute, so therefore it just like it doesn't happen very often. I mean, we'll be in situations like weddings, but even then, like there's such specific situations that usually we're just like, okay, especially like you're saying, Morgan, having your partner there with you, or like having your best girlfriend with you where you're on the same page, like someone there with you where you can just be like, hit that point where you're like, okay, this was fun, but like it's time to go now.
Like, we gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think having, especially young, like in your 20s, having that like experiential kind of moment, like everybody's a little bit different with alcohol, with drugs, with everything. Like you have to figure out how it affects you, in social situations, and if you like that or not. And I think there's a lot of times people are doing it because it's just socially acceptable and like that's what you do and that's how you make friends, especially young, especially college times.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point, you were kind of mentioning like your friends kind of evolve with you. I noticed that I had two friend groups, one in college and one just after, that like I completely outgrew, and drinking and partying were two huge portions of that, because it was more of this like, you're not drinking, like you don't want to have fun anymore, and it was this like bullying, like pressure kind of aspect, and I was like, no, but I'm still having fun, like, so who cares if I'm having a drink or not? But then it gets to a point that you're like, it's no longer fun hanging out with you guys because all you can think about is like the drink or the party or the whatever, and you're like, can we just hang out and be friends? Like, can we just have fun?
Dirty on their
That's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Like, mind your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very much like when you go down just the holistic wellness route in general, I think that's kind of like another level of just like a natural falling off of a lot of people who get really direct access to you, where it's such a specific lifestyle to live that I've noticed that people who do not align, it feels very similar to where they're like not making fun of, but just kind of like pointing out that you're ridiculous. And instead, like, if you're my closest friends, they absolutely do that, and that's fine. And I think it's funny. But if you're like, you can tell a difference between when someone's genuinely mocking you or like thinks that you're like, okay, like, okay, versus like your
Yeah.
friends who are just like, yeah, you're crazy. And you're like, yeah, I know. And so I definitely have noticed as well that like the more you go down this space too, because you become passionate about it because like it really does shift so much in your life that having like the people who are closest to you around you who at least understand the baseline of why you're doing this and being able to like share with them of your journey on certain things is so important. And we definitely had another wave of people that kind of dropped off during as we were radicalizing in our space who just were not understanding and then also just didn't really support us. And, things kind of got weird. And again, we were very vocal, and I am very vocal about a lot of things that I just don't agree with when people are in my space and asking my opinion on things. I'm not just going to give unsolicited advice to people. That never works out. But when people ask me, I'm going to be really direct. And that just, some people really just don't, even when they're asking your opinion, they're just like, oh, I hate everything you just said, and take it in a different way. And it just becomes a whole thing. So
Yeah.
there is certainly another level of like drinking is a big one, but also just like when you're shifting your space to this, where it's like my bedtime is a hard 9 p.m. Like that's also something that's very different for me now versus a couple years ago where I would be fine to stay out till 2 a.m. and go to bed. I don't. I do not do that anymore. Like there are very, very few times that I am not in bed by 9 p.m. And my friends know, and they are so allowing of me to show up in that space of where I'm like, I'm going to show up to your birthday party. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to be drinking, but I'm going to be having the best time and supporting you and bringing you gifts and showering you with love. But I'm also not coming to the afters with you. Like I'm going home and I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. And that, like, being able to balance, like, having friends who accept you and receive you through all of your quirkiness, you still have to show up. Like, I don't, like, I show up and I show up full force because I know I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. So I'm the first one I'm the first one at the party. So, there's ways that I try to counteract it too, but like they're just very accepting of that. Whereas like there was a transition period of people who just saw that as they just couldn't receive me because I have a lot of boundaries for myself and my health and because it just suits me. And that gets kind of complicated in relationships sometimes. And so naturally there's just kind of a separation of those who get you and those who don't.
But you're also not like you're still showing up for all of your friends. And that's the key thing here. Like
Yep.
I think there's been a big shift that's happened through the past couple of years. I've been noticing it where a lot of people are like making boundaries for themselves, which as everybody should. But then a lot of people I think feel that means that you don't need to show up for your friends and you still do. And that sounds like you're still doing it. And I can also vouch for you that you're a very good time. Regardless of drinking or not. Like your presence is just like amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is a two-way street and it is something that I had to learn as well. So a lot of the girlfriends, my best girlfriends now, are people that I met at the beginning of this journey because I did have a huge purge of people from the past life to the new one. And most of these girls have stuck by me through all of those transitions and have helped me, like they've shown up for me when I've been in really dark spaces through this health journey and have shown me what it looks like to show up for your friends and therefore like inspired me to show up back for them in the ways that like within my own boundaries because that is such a good point that there's like such a lack of connection right now. People have such few friends because they're very selfish. And I'm a huge proponent for being selfish. I think it's wonderful, but you can't expect to be extremely selfish and have like thriving relationships if you're not going to take yourself out of being selfish to like be a good friend to somebody. And so it's definitely a balance for sure. So I appreciate that call out there.
Of course. I would really love to talk more about how you've kind of merged this whole wellness, holistic life into real estate because you are a real estate agent, just like we are.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It is still in its infancy stage, I would say, of last year. My husband and I traveled to Switzerland to go to a clinic there, and we stayed for a week, and it is a completely off the grid clinic, and so no technology. And so we were just like, all right, let's go full in. We were super excited to do it, and so I was like totally off grid for a week and just gave myself a lot of space. Because at that point in my career, I'd been in real estate for about 5 years and was just like, I feel like real estate is my job, but I would love to make it my passion as well. And just wasn't really getting how to do that. And so when I went to that clinic, like my whole intention was just to like, I was in the Swiss mountains, like in the middle of the summer with nowhere to be and just being doted on in this like holistic clinic all day. So I was like, I need some inspiration from like whatever is up there. Like, give me something here. Because my husband, his like, which is amazing to see, like his life path is just so, and I've always known it. I'm just like, wow, I see your whole life and like you were born to be like doing the job you're doing. And like, you know, those people where you're just like, oh my God, there was never any question for you.
Morgan is one of those people.
Yes, absolutely. It's just like an evolution. Like, not to say you never question, but it's just like you just constantly just like get better and better at your craft. You're not like trying to like, you're not doing a bunch of pivots.
Yeah.
And that's my husband. So it both like infuriates me because I'm like, why can I not be like that? And inspires me because I'm like, that's so cool to see. And so I thankfully, like after spending a week off the grid, just had this like idea that seemed so obvious of just like, oh, why don't I just blend all of this wellness into real estate? And so that's where the idea first hit me, where it's like, that's not an original idea at all. I'm not saying I'm the one who thought of that by any means, but just for myself, I thought of it of like, okay, how do I do this and start implementing this more in Austin? Because Austin is such a wellness forward city. There's a lot of founders and CEOs. There's a lot of like the big holistic people in the industry right now, like live in Austin. And so there's just a lot of opportunity here. And especially with like Whole Foods being like, this is where it's headquartered. So Whole Foods is headquartered.
Interesting.
Most people do not know that. So there's just like, there's such a, like, we have such a rich culture with like being holistic and being a healthy, like active city. So I just like starting to get more intentional about blending that in real estate because understanding, especially in our day and age now, people are leaning more like heavier and heavier into creating that space in their home because that's where we spend most of our time. So like, why should your home not be the place that's supporting your health and wellness goals? Instead of having to like leave to go do all of these things. Because I also know for myself, as I am in my 30s now and blessed with a partner and happy in my own space, like I don't love to leave my house for things. And I think I see that like more and more and more of just like luxury to me means having everything that I want in my own home. So especially like in the space when we talk about non-toxic, because wellness is very much like you can put a cold plunge and a sauna in your house and you can have a little trampoline and maybe like some courts outside, or like wellness is very different than the non-toxic space. And so my quest, I feel, in life is to start bringing non-toxic and non-toxic building products and practices into Austin, because unfortunately our homes are built with formaldehyde and chemicals and flame retardants. And like those are things, it is widely accepted that when you have a fire in your home, you absolutely do not go anywhere near your home because the air is so toxic from everything that is like burning in your home. And that's why in addition to smoke, but that's why it's like it's so dangerous. Like not just for smoke's sake again, but for like all of the chemicals and stuff that you're breathing. That's why they're like, do not like you need to get away from a burning anything, right? Why do we think that that means that our house is like safe then? Like, like
Yeah.
if it's that toxic when it's on fire, like, well, then to a degree, it's going to be pretty toxic for us as we are just living our day-to-day life in our home. Especially when we live in Austin, it is a wet climate here, humid. We have a lot of mold in our houses. So many people that I know have issues that can be directly tied back to mold in their home because our houses are not built to be mold proof. Like they're not. And it's not a wide practice to like, if you see mold growing, we know that's an issue. But by the time you see mold growing in your home,
It's been there.
it's been there for a while. In your body, most bodies are so sensitive to mold that you probably already have some type of something going on in your system. And so just things like that, where I would love to just start blending more of that, of being able to introduce, the people who are just lightly interested in like a wellness aspect of being able to identify homes that are just like, okay, you get a lot of natural light here, you're not near, really toxic places to live, i.e., golf courses, terribly toxic places to live because it is the most concentration of pesticides and chemicals that they use anywhere to keep the grass green.
There's
Near
a
an
lot of
airport.
golf club communities too, like just throughout the country. That's
Because so it's
Mhm.
basically like redefining what luxury looks like because in a lot of places like that is luxurious is to live on a golf course, right? And then kind of exposing like for those who are this lifestyle is for them because it is a very specific lifestyle and want the luxury of having a non-toxic home, like being able to educate with like that level of attention to detail of like, okay, how far do you want to go down this? All the way to partnering with developers who are creating like fully sustainable like communities in Austin that are regenerative, that protect the environment, that are completely non-toxic homes. They are communities that harvest their own food and have their own like community spaces and borderline like, hippie compounds, but with like a new age twist to it. But being able to partner with developers like on that end who can then bring that big concept of those communities into smaller single family luxury homes. Um, and being able to capture the need, like I said again, from people who are just looking for homes that are just like, I want light, I want make sure it's a clean environment and just to be something that makes me happy to walk into, to the people who are all the way up to where they can go like I can go toe to toe with non-toxic, like however educated you are, like I can find those things if you're down to like people who are concerned about where they source everything in their home, EMFs, air quality, mold, things like that. And so more so just like blending all these things together. And then all the partnerships that I have, because I have learned from incredible people. I have tried insane, pretty much any therapy on the market. I've tried it. And so I have really amazing relationships with a lot of like very knowledgeable practitioners who I trust as well. So it's like in addition to finding your home that suits whatever level of holistic wellness you're at the time, I probably also have someone who practices whatever you're looking for and can refer you to them as well. So it's, like I said, it's in its infancy stage because there's not a lot of people taking it to that degree. Like there's no other realtor taking it to that degree in Austin. I see more and more of this like exposure to like the air quality in your home, water quality, education around mold, things like that. But there's no one who's like going like as hard as I want to go. So I'm like slowly building this and rolling out more content and all of the things that goes into building a brand, right? So I'm excited about it and we'll see where it goes.
I'm excited for you. Like the
Yeah.
stage is yours. If you're the only one doing it really like to that extent. I mean,
Yeah.
you have so much knowledge that like that's valuable for clients that are interested in that type of capacity. Like, I mean, yeah, there's smaller, where they're just worried about like water quality, EMFs, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then to the next level of like building like materials and all that. But if you have all of these tools and resources for your clients, that's just like next level.
It is. And it gives you purpose to, going through a lot of these like really hard things. And as convicted as I am to have made these changes in my own personal life for my health and things like that, it's really fun to be able to, kind of like gift it into the world to be like, okay, turn it into some purpose as well, of not just like, this is something I went through that like changed who I am, being able to like gift that back to people. And then conversations like this, like just the more I talk about these things, like it means so much to me to see people implementing anything that I say. And I think that's incredible because it's also like, I'm not telling you anything that's going to harm you. I'm really not. It's such a cool thing to be able to like connect with like-minded people and people who are like wanting to grow and learn more about the community. Like that inspires me more. And it's just this like big snowball effect of like, this like my light bulb moment of like, I get it now. And so especially just like turning 30 this year, I'm like, all right, this decade, like I can't wait to give myself another 10 years and see like what my business looks like, who I'm connected to, and all the amazing people that I've gotten to meet and serve along the way.
Yeah, you're building such an ecosystem with this, which is so cool because it'll just keep building this web of the practitioners that you can recommend, the building materials. Like you're really meshing all of it together in a really, really cohesive, easy to understand way. Because I think I've seen a few other people talk about non-tox, but they talk about it in such a way that like it goes over my head and I feel like I've dabbled a little bit into it. And I always talk about how your house, your real estate, or the places that you go affect your life. And they affect it so dramatically in ways that you don't always even recognize. But when you take it to this whole other level where your home is healthy and is supporting your life, well, and you don't have to do anything. It's literally just your house and you get to stay there and it's sustaining the life that you want and the health that you have is just unparalleled. And I think you're right. We're just on the brink of that. You're the only realtor that I know that's bringing these together and actually has the connections to do that. And I've been seeing it just over a year and a half of how it's been growing. And I cannot wait to see what happens in a year from now, let alone a decade from now.
Yeah, I know. It is very exciting to see. And also just, again, being able to like share these types of things on this platform, because while I do appreciate bringing in a new vision, like I would love for people to not reinvent the wheel and just take what I'm doing and bring it to your markets as well, because it's not something that's like, this is my thing and I'm doing this. Like I'm so excited to be able to connect with other people in business as well to like continue this, because wouldn't it just be incredible if we started like having true impact on like what the standards are for building, and like that goes way beyond just me doing what I'm doing. And so again, like spreading the word and having other people who are like passionate about it too is just incredible, because if we want to see real change, like we're the ones who are going to have to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love what you're doing. It's really exciting. And I can't wait to see your brand. Just like absolutely fun.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, we're in baby phases now. So that's the other part, is just being a business owner and having something that feels so much bigger than you, and being able to like take bite-sized chunks and just like keep stepping forward and, making actual moves towards this like giant goal, instead of just like going all in and being scatterbrained and, doing too many things at once to where nothing ever comes to fruition. So it's exciting, but I got to reel myself back in quite frequently too, to just be like, okay, what does tomorrow look like? Like that's all well and good. Love talking about that, but like I still need to show up like every day to like create this gigantic thing.
It's a journey.
Journey.
So we are kind of coming to an end, but before we do that, we always do a hot take. Do you have any hot takes that you'd like to share? I feel like this whole episode was a hot take.
I do think so.
It's so shocking. I was just like, no, not really. Nothing to say. Okay, a hot take that I have right now that if we're really gonna ruffle some feathers, which I do like to do,
I love that.
I do not use wireless headphones, and I think that they are killing our brains. It is a pandemic of people walking around with their AirPods always in their ears, like they never take them out. My sister sits in her house with her AirPods in, and that just hurts my soul. Wireless headphones, people. You do not need all of those.
I'm so guilty of this.
I have heard this. I've heard this.
We don't sleep with our heads. Like, we know that we do not put our cell phones under our head when we sleep, right? If you don't know that, that's where you need to start. That's like a wide thing that we know, right? Headphones are just tinier things. It's just emitting all of those waves into your brain and scrambling your brain. And mark my words, there will be more and more studies coming out in the next couple of years of people who are developing some type of like brain issue, whether it be like full-on tumors or just
take them out, Morgan.
Well, fuck these things.
Where just like I have like my big over-ear Beats, and I just like have my little cord. I just like turn off the Bluetooth setting and like attach them to my phone. It's so much better for you. If you have to walk around, if you have to have headphones on, that's my hot take, is do something nice for your brain and quit emitting so much into it.
I have a good
man.
segue into that though. So
okay.
Headphones. I actually like, I do wear them, but like not all the time. Like I don't live in a city. I live in the suburbs, so I'm not like wearing them all the time, more so at the gym. But one of my best friends,
be conscious of it. You don't have to have it all the time.
I agree. But one of my best friends though, she does not use headphones at all. She just has her phone on full volume anytime, anywhere, and I hate that.
That would kill me.
That is rude. I yell at her. We were just at the airport the other day. I'm like, can you not? I don't care. It's just who I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. Let's just do the wired headphones.
Wired headphones. Yeah. I can appreciate that for sure.
Love you though.
That's why we need best friends to keep us humble, okay?
Yeah, I cannot stand anybody who takes calls just out in the open. I don't care where we are. But I'm like, hello? Like, why am I privy to your conversation? Why is it? And it's always about something that should be like kind of personal. And I'm like, your friend's going through some shit. She's like bawling and I'm hearing it. I'm like, what are we doing?
I like can't.
Yeah. I want to go over and like chuck their freaking phone and be like, you don't deserve a phone. Like, you're cut off. Like, you don't know how this works? Get out of here. Like,
they're always the loudest. Like,
they are so... I was at coffee this morning and some girl is in the corner on a Zoom call. The loudest freaking human being I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, are you just trying to like... Clearly you're on a business call. Are you just trying to like let it be known that you do business and like this is what you do? But everybody is sitting coffee and you can tell we're all kind of looking around being like, is she for real? It lasted an hour. I was like, girl. I was like, somebody kick her out. Where are these guards? Get them out of here.
A perfect hot take is like, don't take your business calls at a coffee shop. Like,
I never do. Do it in private.
Yeah.
I agree. Now that I'm thinking about it, I am like getting annoyed at those people, so.
Yeah. If you're clacking away, I'm fine with that. But if you're starting to talk, nobody wants to hear your voice. Yeah. What is my hot take? My hot take, totally unrelated. Silver and white cars. Piss me off. Like you chose a non-color for your car? Like, I'm so confused. Like,
I love Morgan's car hot takes. Hates Teslas. If you don't have a silver car, a white car, God forbid.
Yeah. Like, silver and white, I'm just like silver, like, you just, like...
I think silver...
It's just metal,
I don't
and
like
you
silver.
just, like, took it out of the manufacturing assembly line, and then you're like, that's done. Like, what? Like, you just forgot the paint. You're just leaving it. And then white? that'll make it better. Like, I'm
dying.
so confused. Everyone has a white car, and I am embarrassed.
That's
Yeah, what
amazing.
color's your car?
Black.
Mine's black too.
Okay.
You guys are safe.
But my last 2 cars previous to this car were both white. But
It's okay.
At
You've
least
seen
you stepped it up. You grew up.
yeah, and my next car will be a color. So I'm on that
Yes.
path.
Okay.
I'm like,
What
choose
color
a
is
color, choose a personality. Like, why are we choosing these non-personality cars? Like, I'm so confused.
I do.
Or if you do that with an iPhone and you get the white iPhone, I'm like,
No.
If you like white, you're boring.
yeah,
Vanilla.
like you're boring. You're vanilla.
I love it. Well, JL, we loved having you on today. This was
This is so
an
fun.
episode. Where can everyone connect with you?
Instagram is the best place to connect with me. My username is just my first and last name at Jael Bristol. But that is where I give all of my hot takes and show some gorgeous homes in Austin, and that's where I'll be rolling out everything that I'm doing as well. So yeah,
Everyone
catch me
follow
there.
her.
Yeah, go follow me. There's some fun stuff.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
And then we'll have you back on soon, and we'll keep going on the non-talks, and there'll be more and more to unleash. There'll be so many layers.
I was gonna say I can talk for truly hours. It would be insane to like start to finish, just like sit down and just talk to myself and like see how long I could go. It'd be a really long time. But thank you for having me. This was incredible. I can't wait to talk more about this with you, but appreciate you all and thank you everyone for caring and listening.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of At the Table with Powerhouse Women. Thanks for tuning in. If you love today's conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Your support helps us keep pulling up more seats at the table.
Want to keep the conversation going? Join the movement at powerhousewomen.com/society.
And connect with us on Instagram at Powerhouse Women.
Until next time, keep showing up, keep building, and remember, there's always room at the table for you.